this computer. All right, everybody. Since we have everybody here, I guess I'm gonna host since Red's not here. So yeah, he's doing special stuff, selling pool tables again. So as you guys know, welcome to Keys to the Jet. I'm Blackbeard, and our other host we have is
Rhino.
And then filling in for Red, I guess, is little Red Mikey.
Little Mikey.
Little Red Mikey.
Gentlemen.
Yeah.
I was going to make a piece of paper that was like a red fake beard, but I didn't.
You
You can get a cardboard cutout like I got for Fab.
Oh, yeah, would have been better.
Just get one for every one of us so we can just fill in for the episode.
And then our guest today, I guess we have Triggaman.
Yeah. What's going on?
And then good old Cam.
Just Cam.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Cam, you look real familiar. I think I worked with you.
Yeah, I was an expediter in your unit, and
oh fuck,
went to ACC.
That's when I ran off to mock. You started driving. I was like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
There it is. No, be honest.
No.
It was V.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was totally V. Yeah. Oh god.
Push the box a quarter mile uphill with only his
dude, this guy. Fuck. If he didn't like you, your ass was at the wash rag every damn day.
Oh no, at least two other people in this chat know. We were all in Alaska together.
Oh, okay. I'm back there now, but in a different capacity.
Oh yeah, what are you doing now?
I'm in the guard.
Oh.
So I really don't do shit.
Nope. So it really changed.
Expediters like, hey, I need you to go do this. I'm like, how about we start with a can I?
What's funny enough is that's actually how I used to talk to people. I used to be like, hey, can you do this? And I remember one time we were doing
you still talk to me that way.
We were doing like a chalk walk from Fuel Barn back to the 90th. And one of the guys had to go because he had a dental appointment. I looked at the 7-Level in the passenger seat and I was like, hey man, can you hop out and go swap out with him for this chalk walk? And he's like, fuck that. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't really a question.
Yeah, it's different when you're sitting on the guard side because they don't really fuck with us.
No.
Well, they'll fuck with the kids, but like the new guys, because they don't know who I am. Well, they didn't know who I was when I showed up, or like what my previous history was in the unit.
Yeah.
So like, hey, are you capable of doing anything? And I was like, I can do more on this jet than you. And they,
you look
just
so
got
cheap,
here. Like,
did we all look like that when we were in? Wow.
No.
I'm not even in per se.
He has a really nice shirt. We don't have nice shirts.
Wait, are you in your 20s?
No, I'm actually in my 30s.
Fucking Jay doesn't even have a shirt with sleeves on it, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo for the dress code, so sorry. And I didn't wear this because of it. I just literally, it's like one of my only clean shirts.
Wake up in the morning, everybody else puts on like shorts and a tank top.
I'm going to be on a podcast with the general of E4 Mafia. I better dress up.
Yeah.
Better dress up.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, I guess, Triggaman, you want to go first? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah,
where you been, airframes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So started out back in 2009 was when I came in, and I was a Raptor baby. So started on the Raptor and active duty 6 years, and then wanted to become a pilot, not in the Air Force, but like in the civilian world. So I transferred over to Nellis as a reservist on the Raptor. Went to flight school in Southern Utah, was there for about 2 years, and then moved to Florida, transferred again to the Air Force, well, still in the reserve, but I went and worked H-60 Pavehawks for about 4 years. And then, which was awesome. I love the Pavehawk. I think it's a badass helicopter. I have more stories on that.
It's one of the funnest rides I've ever had.
Dude, if you're lucky, man, and the aircrew likes you, they'll let you rip the fucking guns, and that was pretty sick, firing the 50.
They're pretty cool.
I was like, why am I a crew chief? Why don't I just be a small? Like, fuck this. Like, they don't do shit. They just break it. Say, hey, chief, this shit's wrong. We're gonna go inside though and drink beer. I'm like, all right, asshole. And then after my 4-year stint there, transferred again up to the Air National Guard up in Virginia, where I'm at now, and have been there since about a year now. So it's kind of interesting. My active duty, where I was at active duty, is now where I am, but just with a different color reflective belt. So that's my Air Force side of it, and then my Civ side is all fucked up. I was flying helicopter tours in Orlando. Then I became a game warden in the state of Florida. I was a law enforcement officer, had a badge, a gun, and a helicopter. Did that for almost 2 years, and then somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to be an airline pilot?" And I was like, "Well, sitting in the air at 36,000 feet with the autopilot on sounds pretty fucking easy." So I went and did that. Then COVID hit, lost my fucking job because of that, and then started flying some rich people around and then one of their private aircraft. And then now I'm back in the game, did some corporate aviation at a company called FlexJet, which is a great company, and they actually take really good care of their mechanics, like really good care of their mechanics. And then now I'm about to go to a major airline starting next week. No
Sounds
degree.
pretty cool.
No bachelor's degree.
Yeah. I say
I'm a
fuck
college dropout.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I did say
That's
fuck
what I'm talking
college.
about.
You can go a long way with the CCAF.
Hell yeah.
Tell me how far you made it there, Mikey.
Yeah.
I'm retired at 38. So how about that?
Good one.
Well, after listening to that, I feel worthless, man. Like, you're so young still.
Yeah. I'm
It
still
was not an
jobless
easy
living at
road.
home.
Like I'm up a hot chili day. That's all I do. You know what I mean? Like I just said clean floors.
Oh shit!
All right. Well, so he makes us look horrible. So he's never coming on
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Cam.
Really glad I had to follow
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Still a gander.
Yeah, super awesome to follow that.
Yeah.
So I'm Cam. I started out on F-15s, E models at Seymour Johnson.
What?
Spent about 2.5 years there before I applied for anything I could to get out of North Carolina, because I'm from North Carolina. And they sent me to Okinawa, Japan. I was at Kadena. I worked C's and D's for about 3 years, and my daughter got sick. And they put us in Virginia so that she could be treated by the military at Portsmouth. So that's how I got into F-22s. I showed up when the 27th had 2 jets on loan from Tyndall. I think it was 36 and 29. And and then I kind of spun up. I was there for the whole spin up of the 27th through every stage. On 94th, they spun up everything while I was there. And then as soon as my lockdown, because when we were all Raptor, they were like, everybody's on an assignment freeze until we get all this going. I wanted out of Virginia because I don't like Virginia. And so I volunteered for Korea, did a year in Korea. The problem is that the flight chief in Korea was a buddy of mine. And when I say flight chief, I mean and programs flight for MOS. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to break from the flight line?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, dude." It was the worst decision of my life. My year in Korea took longer than my 3 years in Alaska. It just drug by because it was just office work, and I hated every minute of it.
What year did you join?
98.
Late 1900s.
That's when
That's
I started high school.
I was a sophomore.
When I finished high school.
You want to feel really horrible? I was 7 years old.
God damn.
I don't feel horrible at all. But no, I did my year in Korea, and I got a follow-on assignment to Elmendorf, which is where I got up there to the 90th. It's where I worked with a couple of you fine gentlemen.
There you
Supervised one of you.
go.
Best people you ever worked with.
Good old PT program.
Oh, the PT program.
I want 100 burpees.
What was it? I think it was the first day I was in there with Biggs. Chief's like, "All right, guys, run to the railroad tracks and back." And I was like, "Where's the railroad tracks?" It's a 2-mile run. We get back and he's like, all right, you guys warmed up? And I was like, the fuck he say to me?
He was a hardcore chief. All that CrossFit.
Oh man, one day.
Oh, that
So towards the end of my days in that little boot camp, we were running to the tracks, and I was beating Chief, and I was kind of being cocky about it, and I just stopped, and he's like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And I just give him the fingers, like, "Look over there," and there was a pack of like 12 wolves. And he's like, "Oh, okay, let's go back."
But no, I did my time up in Alaska, and then my only return assignment choices were Edwards, Holloman, or back to Virginia. And it was a go with the devil that I know type thing, and went back to Virginia, which is where I went straight into the 94th. I was expediting when I left Alaska. I got to Virginia. I was still expediting. I think I'd hit like my 4th EPR, and was like, I need to do something different and let somebody else kind of take the truck. And the minute that I see the lead pro super and my chief in the office, I was like, hey, perfect time. And as I'm about to say, like, hey, I need a different job, the chief looks at me as like, hey, do you want a different job? And I'm like, well, what do you got? And he was like, you want to be the IMS manager? And I was like, the hell is the IMS manager? I was like, I'm not like an IT guy, right? And they're like, that's not what it is. You just need to know, like, you use the system. You need to know, like, the requirements of the system and how maintainers use it. And I was like, sure, I'll go interview. So I went and did the interview. What's that?
Creative cams, so I might as well.
Yeah. So I went and did the interview, and I came back, and it was like a week later. My chief sees me like getting the shift ready stuff. And he looks at me, he's like, hey, are you going to start out processing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, for that IMS job. And I was like, did I get it? I didn't get PCA orders. I didn't get an email saying congratulations, nothing. They were just like, hey, out process and go in process at ACC headquarters. And I was like, okay. So all I did was walk around with a checklist and was like, oh no, I'm PCSing over to headquarters. And everybody's like, got it. I was like, I could have done this years ago and just been a glitch in the system. Nobody would have known. Like, yeah, I'm just PCAing. I'm out, guys. But doing that job allowed me to kind of create a good set of contacts. And as I retired, turns out nobody was doing this type of work on this side at Lockheed. And so I basically took off my uniform and put on a polo and went and started doing the same thing for Lockheed for a little bit more money. And now I live in Texas. Work from home, actually, since COVID. So this isn't too bad.
What? You mean I could come to your house any day and you're going to be there?
No.
And not those days.
Not those days. I'm not here on any day.
I'm going swimming every day.
Dude, the fence ain't locked. Have at it.
Come home. He's naked in your pool.
Great. Not again.
Just with his butt ice in hand.
Yeah.
But no, it was, I mean, if you look back at my time in, I honestly, there's 2 things that were my favorite time, and that was being a senior airman on F-15s with, like, I was run qualified and I had wavered red X's for like menial shit, like panels and refuel, defuel, shit like that.
Intakes
and
gas.
Yeah, intakes gas and circuit breakers. And then like we actually had a program for it at Kadena that they would put you through. It was like a 2-3 day class to understand everything, and then they'd waiver you for X's. Yeah. There was that one, and then honestly, being an expediter, that shit, it wasn't that it was easy. It was honestly fun. Like, I used to have a blast doing it. The only time I didn't have a blast doing it was when I decided I didn't need caffeine anymore. And I decided I was not going to drink energy drinks. Like, I was just going to quit cold turkey. I made it 2 days because I couldn't function at work. Just couldn't do it.
Yeah, not tooting your own horn, man, but like you and of all the expeditors I had, you and a small Mexican we won't say the name of, were my two favorite because you guys got the job done, but you were assholes, but you were fun about it, you know. So that was cool that you were able to integrate everything into it and make it like it was fun to be at work. It wasn't just the drag of low morale and shit, you know. You crossed the red line, you saw that person in the truck, and you were like, "All right, we're gonna have fun today."
Well, it's not just that, but I mean, me and that tiny Hispanic gentleman that doesn't speak Spanish, um, we were both, we were a believer of if we don't have shit to do, there's no need for everybody to be here. You know, like if I only have like one jet being worked and I've got to keep a tow crew around, I don't need everybody here. We can cut down to 4 people, 5 people.
Open up
That's
the
no big
deli.
deal.
Cut
Yeah,
back
that's right.
sandwiches.
Open up the deli. Exactly. So it's just that was one of my most fun jobs, and I wish I would have gone back to the line in a way to do like the pro super side of things, but it was like, do I leave ACC, spend a year back over on the line, and then retire with a bunch of other pro supers, or do I leave ACC as the one dude doing that job and go find another job doing that?
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Triggerman, so with guard, like, are you full-time guard, or is that even an option? I don't know much about guard. I know a little bit about reserves, but I
So
don't
it's
know a lot about it.
yeah, so what's weird about the Garden Reserves is it's the exact same, but they use different acronyms for everything, and it's fucking confusing. But yeah, it's like you do your one weekend. Like I know what drill weekends I have for the rest of the year, and then Langley's unique as they like to schedule like AT, your annual tour when you got to go do your like 14 days of duty, so to speak. Langley actually, this unit, they actually tell you when you're going to do it. Like they'll schedule around, like we had one, it was over, like we did a phase 1 exercise recently, and then the next one's in August, and they're going to have like, what they like to do with it is to get all the classes lined up, like intakes, bore scope, hot pits class, all that. They line it all up for the guys to get certified. So that way, when we're on drill weekend, every drill weekend we fly with, we do like it's like a 10 pit 10, and then they'll do that RCS thing, which I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but basically we don't debrief the jet. It's just like the pilot hops out, new pilot hops in, and then they go. So it's kind of cool. So that's, in a nutshell, that's how the guard kind of operates. The reserves, like I said, it's the same thing. They just use different letters. It's like drill
Gotcha.
at
Yeah, like because we had like up there, we had a lot of reservists that were integrated with us, and so like arts and stuff, and so they were full time. So the only difference was, like I was on weekend duty, and they'd be like, "I'm making $44 an hour," and I'd be like, "Fuck you, fag."
It's still like that.
you can't say that.
Motherfuckers are like, Expediter's like, "Hey, we need you to go run this jet," and he's like, "I already hit my 8, bro. I'm out."
Yeah.
So it good.
So with that, hit my 8 and I'm out. Right when I got up to Alaska, I remember we were on swings and we were having to change the lower dives on the engines, or the upper dives, and I remember the day shift reservist changed the number 1 upper dive, spent all day on it. TNF is fucked up. The guy needs a new jack screw. None of the forms are done. You name it, and they're like, "Hey, don't worry about it. We'll do forms tomorrow." And they just rolled out. And I'm still brand new to Alaska. I just came out of Korea, so I'm ready to get back on the jets. And I'm working with this dude, and he and I used to be at Langley together, and he's now a reservist. He's like, we'll take care of the TNS. So we took care of that, whatever. But we had our dives swapped, like the whole liner done and swapped in like, I don't know, 2 hours.
You got to remember that the
It's a
reserve
few screws.
they have their 1 hour. It's a mandatory 1 hour lunch. It's in their contract, so that's probably why I took all day.
It's like 5 fucking screws.
Well, we went back. Well, you got to pull the whole dive off.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
it's all the slides and everything else. You got to, the slide pins you got to pull out. But even still, like I went back in because we had the kit on loan from Engine Shop, and I went in and I put it into the Pro Super's office. He's like, "Hey, I thought you guys were going to do that other dive," and I was like, "We did."
Oh,
And
I was
he's
thinking
like,
of the lips.
"Nah." He's like, "What the fuck do you mean you did?" He's like, "It took day shift all day to do one, and you did yours in 2 hours." I was like, "Yeah."
Yep.
He just like storms off, cussing.
Those motherfuckers got me.
Motherfuckers. That's the same Pro Super that V. He walks up to V at 6 o'clock at night, and he's like, "Hey, we got a document review we got to do." It was perfectly placed. There's literally a shredder in the middle of them, and V takes it and just looks at him and just throws it into the shredder, and then looks back at him and goes, "We don't do document reviews on swings." That's all he did, and I'm just standing there going, "What? Where am I at?" And then the Pro Super just looks at the shredder, looks back at him, and he goes, "That's the most badass thing ever. I got nothing. You're right. We don't do document reviews on swings. Fuck them."
That's day shift bullshit.
It was the most fluid moment ever. He's just like, "Oh yeah, no."
When I got put back on day shift after being like 2.5 years on swings, there's a couple of times that I would do stuff, and I was still senior airman, and I just walk off, and somebody new would be flight chief or something, and one of my supervisors or somebody, staff or tech, you or somebody would be like, yeah, you just let him go. He's swings, he's too inbred in swings. There's no changing him.
Inbred. You got the word right.
Yeah.
Inbred. You hit the nail right on the head there, brother, cousin. I don't know.
You guys created this.
I don't think so, buddy.
That's what happens when you're raised on the flight line.
Are you drinking Bud Ice?
Yeah, it's almost new.
He never stops.
Yeah.
The first time we had him on, he was double fisting Four Locos, and he was like just chugging them.
Dude,
It'd be cool. It'd be cooler if those were the real Four Locos.
He kept putting on lipstick and stuff and telling us how much he loved us and
singing "Goodbye Horses."
Yeah, he was dancing around and kept turning the lights off in his camper and turning candles on. It was really nice. I was like, after the podcast, I was like, "Jay, who the fuck was this guy?"
Like, we're bringing him back, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a regular.
It's like a whole Joe Dirt movie.
There may or may not be a video out there.
Oh, there better be a video out there
of me or somebody that looks
snoring penis on YouTube. There's a video of me.
Snoring penis.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
That's
kind of weird.
I drank a bottle of absinthe in the Azores and passed out on my buddy's couch, and they drew dicks all over my face, and I was snoring, and they put it on YouTube. I'm not ashamed. I have no regrets.
I was saying there may be a video out there with a guy that looks like me and a little skinny redheaded guy dancing to Goodbye Horses.
How skinny we talking? Like, he run really well.
Oh yeah,
your points are full fun.
Very good runner.
He's a really good runner, is he?
Yeah.
Maybe you guys have like a semi-matching tattoo.
Yep, probably.
Got it. Know that one.
Good times out there.
Oddly enough, that individual, I remember when he first showed up to Okinawa, brand new.
Yeah.
It's a small world, man.
It is. It's crazy how small, especially the Raptor community is.
Oh yeah.
We may not been stationed at one base, but I'm sure all of us know all the same people.
Well, if you weren't Langley or you weren't Elmo, we didn't give a fuck about you anyway.
Because you're jealous of Tyndall.
That AETC bullshit. They're like, "What's an exercise?" Then they come over and they're like, "This fucking sucks." I'm like, "Welcome to hell, bitch."
Yeah. Then you
Now
go
all
to
that's at
Korea and
Langley.
really
now.
realize
They-
it.
Langley's got they moved the pilot's training course to Langley. So now we have,
Yeah.
well, we're going to have a shitload of jets, and then the student pilots are fucking them up. They had one the other day. She shut down an engine in flight.
Ooh.
Per the checklist. I think it was a gin fail, and she ran the checklist, and it drove her to shut it down. She lands on the runway. Something up with the brakes. She ends up blowing both damn fuse plugs on the damn runway. So yeah, they're fucking them shits up. But they're also using like old lotted aircraft, so they're not.
Yeah, they got block 20s.
Yeah. Well, they want to intermix the late models that we have to immerse them in the combat aircraft, so to speak. I don't know. I was like, yeah, that's cool enough. If that's not their first flight, at least get like a couple hours behind the wheel before you give them one of the good jets.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I remember when that hurricane happened, and it was literally the week before I started my current job, and I was in California, and I saw it happen. I was like, damn. And as soon as I walked in, like my brand new boss, everything, like 62-year-old dude, never worked jets or anything, looks at me and he's like, what do you think's going to happen to these jets? She's like, they're saying they're going to go to Langley. And I was like, unless they started construction 3 years ago that I'm not aware of, they ain't going to Langley. Not anytime soon. They're like, no, they're going to do that. And I was like, you guys keep saying that. It ain't going to happen right now. And it just kept going and going. And they're like, they built it for 3 units. I was like, not really.
I was going to remind you guys of OPSEC, but one of you is a janitor and one of you is guard, so you don't give a shit.
What is the OPSEC have to? You want me to pull the news article for you?
I'll go with you.
There's no OPSEC on this. Like, it's been in the news constantly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's, Chinese spy balloons.
Yeah.
Oh, that was exciting. Yeah. I may or may not have been a part of that. It was drill weekend.
I got a pat somewhere around here for that. I got the little like Winnie the Pooh one that says float around and find out.
Yeah, they're trying to buy them for the squadron. I was like, why are we going to be authorized to wear it? Because I'm not going to buy this shit if I can't wear it.
Speaking about swag, I may have heard a story, and so
yeah, fuck that.
How do you spell militia?
Suck a dick. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, so there was a typo, but you know what's even funnier about that is, you know how many people read the proof before I ordered it and nobody caught it? Like from the commander all the way down to the dudes in the shop, everybody saw it. Nobody caught it. And it wasn't until after we had them, sold them at an air show, sold them over a drill weekend. It was in between, like I'd already sold 40 at this point. This was like, hey, you know this thing's got a typo in it? And I was like, really? And I looked at it, I was like, oh shit. And I was like, and then they started giving me shit. I'm like, no, fuck all you. Nobody noticed it until this one dude actually read it. I was like, y'all just bought it and put it on. Like, you didn't actually. One dude was sitting in his office, it was probably hanging up in his face, and he's like, that's not how you spell militia. Fuck. So yeah, I get shit on it like hourly.
Hey, so it's 13 years later and still nobody caught it. So I'm going to go ahead and out this. On our second time, the 90th, the second time we went to Guam for our shirts, on the side, on the sleeve, it said Saipan Prime Tour. And that was referring to the hookers. And nobody caught it.
That's funny.
That's a keeper right there.
Now everybody's going to go back. You're going to get a case.
It's so much for being discreet about where I work. Everybody, I knew as soon as that one individual hit you up on Facebook, I was like, God damn it! I'm not gonna tell them.
I mean, you could be the guy that misspelled maintenance on the maintenance pro coins.
See, that's
you don't remember
happens.
that? It was at Langley. It was 2015 or 2016. They call it maintenance.
I was already gone.
Oh, you already gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Langley's main the medallions or whatever said maintenance.
He's a man.
Where was the Microsoft Word spell check on that? Where's spell check on that?
Well, it's all cap lock.
What do you expect?
Spell check don't work on caps lock.
True.
I think.
Are we going to have an
funny.
appearance by the Fab cardboard cutout?
Who knows where Fab is?
So I currently have him in my front window. So when anytime Amazon shows up, there's just a picture of Fab right there. And I have my Amazon camera on, like, I have the sensitivity all the way up to just try to see if the Amazon guy's like, what the fuck? But it looks like one of those memorial pictures, you know. It's great.
On one of the posts, someone's like, "He's not missing." I was like, "Oh yes, he is."
Oh yes, he is.
I was like, wow, this guy's way too serious.
Is that the Age Ranger?
I don't know. I don't remember what page it was.
Or not the Age Ranger. The
I know
guy's
what
always
page
in
it was,
support.
but I'm not going to mention
No.
the page, but I know what page it was. And I don't know who that dude is. He must be a new guy. I mean, since the last shit, I haven't been there for 12 years. So,
well, it doesn't really matter. I think it was the 90th page, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I think, yeah, he's a newer guy, I guess. I don't recognize the name.
Dude, what's up with the B-52 guys getting so sensitive?
Oh, they got all kinds. That one guy.
Dude, that dude was like a straight, like, pro-Biden guy.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Because I made
We're really holding these aircraft together, goddammit.
I made that clip of Biden, like, promoting Keys to the Jet.
Yeah.
It sounds like Biden saying it and shit. He's like,
I
what
did
is this?
that.
What does this have to do with
B-52s? This should be, you guys are fags. Or whatever.
Have to do B-52. What the fuck?
There's a whole comment thread of like how he just like kept going, you guys need to be removed from this shit, and that's really dumb of you guys.
We got kicked from that page.
Did we really?
Yeah.
Was that an Instagram page or was that a Facebook group?
It was Facebook.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hurt a liberal's feelings, so you violated the community guidelines.
Yeah.
I would have to say, having been around other airframes in the Air Force now, that everybody hates fighter guys, and we all think everybody that's not a fighter guy is a pussy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell us about it there, Rhino.
100%. Facts.
That's the truth.
I've worked both. Fuck you.
But you know.
Yeah.
No, like, I haven't worked all the different, all the different shit like heavies and fighters and stuff. Heavies were cool in their own right, but I mean, you guys are still like, you're not fighters, so I don't know what to say. But it was cool. It was super cool, like seeing the nose of an aircraft and tanks and shit roll out of the front of it, and being able to play football in the back of one, or all the guns on the 130s. Like there was cool shit about heavies. If I was gonna cross train, I would have went to been probably a heavies dude or X-ray, because they didn't do shit and they only worked 3 hours a day and they got paid the same.
C-17, C-5, like tankers and bombers, they're completely out of their own realm. Like 130 guys were completely separate. Those guys are idiots. Like C-5, like they would deliberately break and like row to Spain. Like the crew chiefs knew they would like break a hydraulic line just to stay there, and they'd get away with it every time. So 130, not so much.
Like the 130 dudes would come in and like they would land in the Azores, and they'd have a whole pallet of Yingling, and they'd sell it for like $50 a case. And if you weren't there quick, if you weren't the first guy there, it was gone. So it was like the first time I saw it, I was like, these are my people. But
every 2 years we would go to No Hope Pope and pick up all the 82nd or 101st Airborne guys, and they would go fly back to Little Rock and they'd jump for the air show and stuff like that. But every time we came back, we had 130 that had like 5 or 6 pallets of just Yingling, and its call sign was like Yingling 2-3 or something. It was this call sign, and everybody knew that we were just full of Yingling. And pilots, I mean, pro supers would fill up their fridge that was in there that had their soda and stuff in there. Yeah. It was
I
a good
used
time.
to roll anytime I'd leave Alaska and go back to the East Coast, I'd roll a case of Yingling into my luggage. And then any party I'd go to in Alaska, I'd carry one Yingling. And that'd be the first one I open at the party. And you'd see everybody like looking, they're like, there's Yingling here? I'm like, no, it's the only one. And then I just have like the rest of my beer outside in the cooler, and they'd be like, what the fuck?
Everyone's looking for it.
You've been
It's a
drinking that
power move.
Yingling for a long time.
But yeah, like in tech school, like 15 tech school, you learn that. I mean, it's ingrained into your brain. If you're not a fighter guy, then you're a faggot. So, I mean, that's just
Same
how it
thing
is.
against 16s too, you know, like
Yeah, fucking lawn darts. Like, you're pointless. Why are you even here?
You know,
15s can do the job. Like, why do we even have an Air Force if we have F-15s? So,
you're talking about like new pilots, like young ones fucking up F-15s. Like I know like 16s, 15s, like you always got like 2-seaters and stuff for like tech school or pilot school or whatever. But when we were down in Eglin, you're watching like butter bars fly like the F-35, and you're like, what? And like, oh, he did the simulator for like 200 hours. A little bit different than a simulator, my friend. And they just let him go.
same thing with 22s, man.
Mm-hmm.
22s, there was this chick. I can't remember, and not being sexist. She just happened to be a chick. But
Or
she
woman, or female.
Wait, before you go, Mikey, does everybody have their start card? Everybody good?
yeah, right.
All right.
But she kept coming like, so at the end of the runway, there's a fence, and then there's a road, and everybody travels up and down this road, and she was coming within 2 or 3 feet of this fence every time she would take off. And then finally she hit the fence, and so they grounded her. But we started asking questions and stuff, and I don't know, the rumor that I heard was she had never even actually flown one until the 4 or 5 flights that she almost hit the fence, and then she finally hit the fence. And all she had ever done was T-38s and or T-37s, whichever one, and then simulators. And they threw her in an F-22. Like, what? I thought that was crazy.
Well, their sims don't move. Like the heavy guys, their sims, it's like an airline sim where it rolls
Charge
and
you
does all this
around.
shit.
That was
honestly
that was the best thing when I did engine run school, because we had a full hydraulic stilt motion like 130 cockpit in there, and you start it up, the whole thing fucking shakes. If you go to take all 4 to the wall, like you gotta, like everything shakes in there like it would on the ground, and you could fly around and tip back, and you actually got to wear like the lap strap, like all that crap, because if you crash, the whole thing shakes.
Wow,
It's
that's
nice.
kind of crazy, because like in Fort Worth, there's I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be you could, as a civilian, you could pay, because the first time I did it, I was 8. I was the youngest person to ever do it. But you could do F-16 sim, and it was on full hydraulics, and it would shake and move around and pivot, and so that's crazy that the government can't even afford that shit, but we can buy $1 million hammers.
When I went through run school for 15s, it was like a child's cockpit. Like it looked like you should have put a quarter in it for the ride. It was literally just like a box that you sat in, and it had like a HUD, and then it had all your screens, and your instructor sat literally just sat next to you, facing you, with a keyboard to give you like all your emergency procedures.
And when
It was
you
like
crash,
the kind
it says
outside the
insert
dollar
coins.
store.
Yeah.
The dollar store, you're just like sitting there.
Yeah, but then like when I got to Langley and I went through it, like we did the sim before we went and ran a jet. And then I get to Elmendorf. No, you go through the class, you take your test, they put your ass on a fucking tie down, and they're like, all right, let's do this.
I was
that
going to
is
say,
right.
my class,
They didn't have a
my
sim at
class
Elmo,
was
did they?
my supervisor on comm.
Yeah. Because Tyndall
Yeah,
we had a sim, and then I had to go through run class again because I let it expire in Alaska, and yeah, there was no sim there. I forgot.
Yeah, no, there was no sim when we were there. It was just it was tied down to the trim pad.
Yeah, back there behind the fucking flow throughs.
Yep.
It's the Wild West.
I got a video that I got to send y'all of an engine run that happened at Langley at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I was not there, but I do possess that video. I don't know who was there. I don't know where the video came from. But I could tell you that on what is it, Charlie Row? Charlie Row with a exhaust face the runway. Yeah, somebody fully lit the candle on that bad boy at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus, dude.
I can tell you that the hook where the hook clicks in, what is that? The little eye thing?
Oh yeah.
Pad eye?
That will actually hold 2 Pratt & Whitney 119s in full burner in Guam.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, this is what was funny about this on the flight line was this jet was not. It was only chalked.
Oh no! If it was there on the flight line, there's nothing else for it.
There was nothing tied down. Nothing. Somebody got this person never got in trouble, and it's still not. He's not at Langley anymore. She's not
at about 85%. I would start to jump.
She.
That's pretty. What is it? Did you guys use wood or rope
for chocks?
Wood. Yeah. In Alaska, you use rope.
Yeah, those are the best chocks I ever fucking saw.
And with rope, man, you can be 25 foot away and just sling that bitch, and it'll go perfect if you know what you're doing. But
fucking bolo and tires.
But I can also tell you at about 85%, you start to jump.
It was always good until they got wet, and then they're fucking.
Why do they use rope? What's the science behind the rope?
Because wood slides on ice.
They're frozen. And you have to
slides on ice, bitch. Right?
Jets slide on ice too when you're towing them.
They do. Or running them.
Yes.
Fucking drifting sideways.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah. That was always crazy going down to like before the 525 was fully like in their new spot and going down there and towing around the hangar. It would always fucking drift the whole jet around that corner.
You just want to play the music from ding, ding, ding.
The Tokyo Drift. Yeah.
I guess I'm probably the only one that remembers before we had slots at the 90th. And well, now I think Hotel Row's full of slots too. But used to, we didn't have any slots. And when I first got there and they were just transitioning, I think they had 115 left. And but yeah, on you that jet would start to a little bit to the side. It's pretty badass, to be honest.
How do I change his name to Boomhauer?
Can't do it. I earned this name.
With Boomhauer? Yeah. Me old dang no, you're I love you, dude.
You know, Cam's the one that taught me how to choke people out.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Start calling you opposite Cam.
Yeah, that was a fun night. I'm walking back. No, you're not.
Yeah,
in the van.
Blackbeard. We just need to have Cam on every episode, but doesn't show his face. And then when anybody says anything, he just goes allegedly.
Seriously, man, we were outside the New Jay.
Oh, the Golden New Jay.
Yep.
And,
great establishment.
And me and this other dude start dancing with these chicks that were in a truck, and they were wasted. And we hadn't even got to the place yet. And then this sober chick comes out, and she's all pissed off, and she makes the drunk chicks drive so she can get in the back seat, and they take off. But even then, we're out having a good time, and I remember Cam just being like, "What's going on?" He was laughing, but he was so serious.
I look over, and the other individual with us is just holding one of the chicks in his arms like he's carrying her, and I was like, "Put it back."
Put it back.
I don't know where you got it from, but put it back.
The drunk chick driving is like, "Y'all tip my sister good," and I'm like, "What in the what?" Just like, yeah, no, the sober chick got into the back seat, and I was like, oh man, we are definitely in Florida.
Lower Alabama.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's what I was gonna say. Man, being a game warden in Florida, that must have been wild.
It
Yeah, what
was
that like?
it was the best job I ever had, and I don't know why the fuck I quit, but it was fun. Like,
You probably got more stories from that from being a crew chief.
honestly, I have a shitload of stories about everything I've fucking done because I've always gotten into some shit. But yeah,
I
that
couldn't tell by the way you dressed.
God damn, next time I'm just gonna come in my birthday suit and that's it. Like,
well, then that'd be appropriate for a bunch of crew chiefs.
Yeah, well, I know. It's just another episode of the locker room.
Take your shirt off.
So many dicks I've seen being a crew chief.
Dude. It's like the guys that go up to the urinal and drop their trousers to their ankles in a public fucking restroom. It's like, what are you doing?
We had a guy do that during a urinalysis.
Oh, that's good.
At Langley, my first time at Langley, we got called in for a squadron wide down to Hangar 1. And it was like they were like, come into work now. Go to the hangar. We're thinking like somebody died. But no, they like walk in and you put your name on your phone, turn it off, put it on a table, and then you just spend like hours waiting to go take a urine, leave a urine sample. And one of our dudes looked like Farva from Super Troopers, and he was one of the monitors for the whole squadron, like all AMUs. Is when we still had the 71st, everything. And one of our guys is like trying to he's like, all right, no, let me get in front of you. All right, no, you two go in front of me. He's trying to pinpoint where he gets him for his monitor, and he comes out. No.
Oh.
And he comes out and they're like, all right, who's next? 4 people ahead of him. They all just point and they're like, he is. And he like pops out. And he's like, okay. He walks in there and he's just like, you ready? He like walks in, like puts his cup down, like looks back at him, and just like the whole time maintains eye contact as he drops everything to his ankles, and then stands and hanks his shirt up. He's like, "Can you see everything?" And like you saw somebody go up to the bathroom because they're gonna go do theirs too, and they open the door and they just step back out and they're like, "Well, wait," because there's just a dude at the urinal, just basically butt naked. He's like, when he finishes, he like looks back at him again as he slowly pulls his pants up. Dude, he came out. Old boy was just red as hell. So mad. And we already knew what happened.
He pulled his knock it off card probably after that.
Knock it off. It's over.
That was 2008. No, we didn't have that.
We had a dude in kindergarten that would drop his drawers all the way, and we thought it was weird back then. That was fucking 87.
That's like most kids now.
It's the best way.
Allegedly, when you're under investigation by OSI, you have to do that 3 times a week.
Drop your pants to your ankles.
I was about to say, drop your pants to your ankles.
No,
Full cavity searches.
Yeah,
so
3 times a week.
after about 5 months, they don't even go in the bathroom with you. They're just like, "Hey, little Mikey, what's going on?"
Little Mikey.
Normally they just do the cavity search once, but Mikey insisted 3 times a week.
You will make sure I don't have anything.
Make sure there's
crying. I don't want to.
God damn it, put your glove on and get over here.
Have y'all ever heard of the Gasparilla Festival in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, the pirate festival.
The big pirate festival, yeah. So
of course I've heard of pirate festivals.
Yeah, if you've been there and it's the entire river that flows through Tampa Bay it's infiltrated with thousands of boats, and we were out doing what we do as game wardens on the water, is boating under the influence, right?
Bunch of assholes.
And I'm not out to ruin a good time, but
allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm not out to ruin a good time, but that fish is 12 and an 1/8 inch long. Yes, sir.
I got another story about the measurement thing. There's actually some interesting stuff out there. But so It's like it's an idle speed on. Like it's like you just put the boat in forward and it go. You don't go any faster than that. This guy's on this rental boat, but it's like a little Zodiac. I mean, this thing's like a fucking dinghy. He's
like
behind the wheel and he's like this. Yeah, like the blow up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he's got like a 25 Yamaha on the back, and he's dressed up as a pirate, but he's all it just looks like shit. Like he's been out in the heat all day. Well, it's January, but he just looks trashed. Yeah, but he's not like he didn't look trashed like as a drunk yet. And he's driving by the boat and he's like super concentrated and he's way above idle speed. And so they're like, let's stop that guy. I was like, all right, I'll talk to him. And I get over there, and the dude in the passenger seat is he's blacked out drunk. There's like no way this dude's coherent. And then the guy driving it, I started talking to him, and I was like, this guy's drunk as shit. Like, he's drunk as shit. Like, there's nothing else to say, right? So I started asking him questions. I was like, hey man, when's the last time you ate anything? He's like, I had a black bean burger last night. I was like, cool. I said, how much have you had to drink today? He's like, only half a bottle. I was like, only half a bottle. Cool. Where's the bottle at? It's back there. And in that area in the back of a boat where it's the transom where like the motor sits and all that.
Yeah.
In there was a handle of fucking Captain Morgan, and half of it was gone. And I was like, did you share this with anybody? He's like, no, I don't share. I was like,
word,
bro. I was like, when did you start drinking this? And by the way, it's like 4:00 in the afternoon. He's like, I woke up at 7, so 8 a.m. I was like, you've been drinking this since 8 a.m. and it's halfway gone? He's like, yeah. I was like, get the fuck
just
off
high
the
five
boat.
him. I was gonna say just high five him and be like, good job.
I couldn't because I was a rookie at the time and I had 4 other senior officers on my boat just going like this.
He's you better fuck his ass.
Fuck his ass. Fucking good, right?
Yeah, there was no way I could have let that guy go because there was kids in the water. He didn't have any life jacket. He didn't know where shit was on the boat. And so what was funny is as we stopped him and we were basically put him on my boat to do to do the bullshit of DUIs. I was annoying. I didn't really enjoy it. It was funny because the rental boat company had their other boat out there waiting to pick that boat up because they knew, that boat's coming back right now. There's no way that guy's gonna be taking it back out because he was gone, dude, gone. Yeah, he ended up blowing a .175.
Yeah, a little bit over. Just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What is the boating limit? Is it .08 for boating too?
Yeah, it's the same as a vehicle. Yeah, and there's nothing that says you can't.
Driver's license to drive a boat.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, so you don't need a driver's license, but hang on, let me yell at my kid.
Stupid motherfucking kid.
So put the meatloaf down.
Yeah, she probably wants SpaghettiOs or something. You have to have a boater safety ID card in Florida if you've born after 1987. You have to have that stupid card, which you just do the online CBT, print out your certificate, and you're good to go.
What do you do?
Because everybody before 1987 is just adept with boats. Like
great question. I don't know the answer, but the year never changes. That's the crazy thing. It's not like, oh, you just had to be 38 or something. No, it just 1987's a cutoff.
1987 is when all the retards started getting born. And they don't know how to operate boats, apparently. Like
they're not grandfathered in.
Yeah, we grandfathered the rest of you retards in. Like, you're fine.
So you don't need anything if you're before 87.
Wow. Yeah, you're good to go, man. You're old enough, apparently. Oh, you got lucky. Cam, that's what I used to tell him.
Let's go, Cam. We can do whatever we want in Florida.
Yep.
Do whatever I want in Texas.
True.
Yeah, to an extent.
You live in a camper. Like, you do everything you want.
That's true.
You can move quicker than I can.
Hook up and go.
Don't tell me about my rights, okay?
I'm going to open my front door one time. There's just going to be Mikey, like, parked on my curb, and I'm going to be like, son of a bitch, I should never given you my address.
He's gonna be, hey, can I hook up my water?
Yeah.
Shitter's full.
Shitter's full.
I'm already gonna be hooked up.
It's already just gonna be hooked up. Be like,
Sugar's full.
what the fuck?
Little Mikey's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, but you guys couldn't live without me at this point. Yeah, you probably could. Fuck you.
Yeah, you're right. Those midnight phone calls, like, hey, what are you doing? Fucking sleeping. Are you okay?
Not anymore, motherfucker.
I was going through a rough time, man.
I know you were.
Yeah. I should play the voice memos you sent me last night.
Actually, a couple of those are really good.
I went to I was actually, like, when he called me at 1 a.m. I was crawling into bed. Like I was about to pull the sheets back, and he starts calling. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Walk out of the bedroom. I'm like, hey, what's up? And he just doesn't say anything for like 16 seconds. And I'm like, and then he just hangs up. I'm like, what is going on? And then I call him back.
With your phone. My phone doesn't fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's super better reception out there, I'm sure.
I will say, allegedly, Mikey called me at one point on the way home from work, and he talked for like 30 seconds, the whole hour and a half drive I had. It was great. But he did say that how he loves heavy guys, and has so much respect for us. And I was like, I'll never tell anybody this. But yeah, I miss those phone calls, Mikey. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I felt special. He's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know,
C-130s are real.
yeah,
jet.
man. Yeah, C-130s are cool, man. I was in Azores and fuck those guys, but I had mad respect for you guys, and the other day I made ice cream, man. That was cool. It's like, fuck yeah, Mikey. I love this.
Thanks, bud.
So
I was like, I picture him just laying there naked, like just talking, like, hey man, what's up?
Finger in his belly button.
I see where I'm wanted.
I seem to remember him.
I feel left out, Mikey.
When he was in the house with the above ground pool, just calling me while he's floating in the pool. I'm like, why do you have a shirt off? Like, what is going on in this fucking picture right now? I'm like, why are you video chatting me?
Oh, he had to go put a Santee on.
It's actually not a real Santee.
Oh,
It's
My
actually just
fucking God.
No, I had to go help my daughter. She spilled ketchup all on my fucking shirt just now. So
Right.
Yeah. Corporate trigger left the building.
You guys ever watch Bupkis? The first episode, the dude comes on his mom, and then like an hour later, she's getting dinner ready, and she's still wearing the shirt.
No.
No.
See, this is the type of shit he calls you about.
That's the shit at midnight when the phone rings. That's the first thing you hear. Hey, you ever watch Bupkis?
This guy comes on his mom. What? Well, allegedly he did, but
Yeah.
what kind of porn are you watching?
well, I don't know. Did you see his latest post that Mikey put up? He's watching Grinch porn. I don't know what's up with that, but
Grinch. What were they fucking all the girls in?
No, I was on old time recipes and depression recipes, and somebody was talking about
Like Depression era, or just like depressive food?
Depression era. That's a Facebook group that I'm on, and somebody was commenting about Grinch porn, and it made me think, like, is the Grinch is that his name, or is that his race, or like what is he? Is he just named? Is he named the Grinch, or is that his race or his religion or what?
I think he's a fucked up who.
Yeah, he's like a mutant who, I guess.
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Well, now I feel bad for the guy.
Well, I mean, apparently not. If he's doing porn, he's doing pretty well for
he's
himself.
doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, but so did what's his name from Saved by the Bell, Screech. I don't feel bad for him.
Man, we have different search histories.
Hey, this is Mikey's has got to be impressive. This shit could be a published novel.
You at least like try to use like incognito mode or like DuckDuckGo or something. Like
No,
lets it
Raw
out.
dog out. Just raw dog it on the
All out
browser.
there.
That makes
It's
sense.
like-
That makes sense though, because that one tab you had, it said how big was Screech. I didn't know if like how if he got big, or how big am I compared to Screech? That's it's a weird calculator.
They blocked Pornhub down here in Virginia. I didn't believe it. We were at drill. They were talking about it. They were like, "Yeah, try right now." It's like, son of a bitch. It's like straight blocked. I went
it's called a
Sure,
VPN.
that's how you found out.
VPN.
You mean
Yeah.
at work or just in all of Virginia?
All of Virginia.
we didn't
Wow.
find the portal. It might have worked on the portal, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to
What
use
if
my
you live
account.
near the state line? Like your neighbors across the state line.
Pick up like a different cell tower from another state,
Yeah.
possibly.
Just
Yeah.
what if your next door neighbors in North Carolina? Can you just bum off their Wi-Fi, or is it too smart to know that you're still in Virginia? So no porn for you.
So the rest of you crew chiefs, it's called a virtual proxy network.
I don't know. I think you're
It's where
probably the only person that still uses Pornhub anyway. So
Do you pay for it? What do you do?
No.
He pays for browsers.
That's how he gets the Grinch porn. It's on the premium.
You didn't know Mikey had up OnlyFans? He's got
He
exclusive
just
access.
watches his own page.
I mean,
One
it's
viewer.
it's $60 a month, but it's great. A lot of pictures of him floating in a pool and shit, and it's great.
If you pay for the
Actually,
bonus, you could give him your number.
At the
You gotta pay for the DM. You gotta leave a
Yeah.
tip.
This is a special messaging rate. You want me to call you at midnight?
Talk about Bubskis.
$25, and I'll call you every week.
like 2 years ago, I rented the presidential suite at the Adolphus in downtown Dallas just because I had the money, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's do it. Never gonna do this again." And they got a claw bathtub, and I'm a giant, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I actually fit in the bathtub." And I was so excited. I didn't even think about the fact that I was naked in a bathtub, but it had bubbles and shit, so you couldn't see anything. But so I sent out a picture to a bunch of my buddies. I was like, "Look at this! I fit in a bathtub." And so anyway, there's that.
Kind of glad we weren't as close at that point.
I'll send it to you.
I'm gonna need you to send
I got
it to
video.
keys to the jet Facebook.
That's gonna be the tag for this podcast. Is just him in a bathtub.
Well, we can put the picture of
thumbnail.
put the picture of Fab and Mikey next to each other. Be like, who looks better in a tub?
You guys were looking for something to change the background, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Is that the weekend that we all went and hung out?
Yes.
Oh, that night.
That was it's one for the books, but I don't want to forget that chapter.
Mikey didn't know how to use Lyft or Uber. And so he didn't get back to his hotel. And I was like, fuck it, I got you. So I just ordered him a Lyft. And like this dude shows up, and I guess the closest one was a luxury one. So this dude shows up in a really nice SUV. Mikey and his old lady are just smashed, like beyond drunk. Like there's other issues involved, allegedly. And
I tried to fight the bouncer an hour and a half before this.
yeah, they wouldn't let him in because they had neck tattoos. But no, I look at the driver and I was like, hey man, it's me. Like that's me on the account, but it's for them to go to their hotel. I promise you, I got you for a tip. I apologize. Please let me know if they vomit in your vehicle and I'll send you extra money. Mikey's like, I don't know how to use that Lyft or Uber shit. And I'm like, oh my God.
Just get in the car and go.
Just get in the car, dude. Like
Well-
I don't think I'd seen him in forever, and that was the first night we hang out.
Surprise.
Yeah, it'd been about 4 years since we had seen each other. Actually, that was a Facebook memory. Came up 4 years ago. Last week was the first time we'd seen each other in like 11 years.
Yeah, been a minute.
So usually with us, at least our podcast getting somewhat kind of slowly bigger, but for you two new guys that are on here, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your, like, when you saw that we had a podcast for this type of stuff, like what was your initial thought about this?
So there's another version of this podcast, but it's Marine Corps Navy dudes. I don't fucking remember the name of it. I have to look it up. And I listened to it a couple of times. So when I saw this, and then I heard I found out through a friend that, oh, this is a bunch of Air Force guys. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I actually understand what they're saying.
Hoorah, crayon eating. Got it.
Yeah. Crayon eating butt fuckers.
Yeah. And so I thought it was pretty cool. And it seems like, at least I'm in on Instagram, I'm in a group chat with some of the hardcore memers. And for Air Force related stuff, allegedly. And they were talking about it in there a lot. That's cool. There's some quality shit in there.
No, I mean, I like it. As soon as I heard about it, my problem is I don't typically listen to podcasts because that's for like a road trip for me. But most of my road trips lately are not in a vehicle; they're on a motorcycle. And only one of my helmets have headphones in it, and normally I need music. So aside from that, it's like, to listen to the podcast is one thing. I've had a couple times where I've you guys have the video up and I'll watch it for a bit, but then I gotta get back to work. But no, I like it. I mean, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's always it's always good to see you guys somebody that I know starting up something new. In some form, this is a form of success, and I do enjoy seeing that from people I've worked with.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I've been on a couple times, but I'm still a guest also. Like I said before,
rub that in your guys' face. I've been on a couple times, but
yeah, we just fucking drop that.
No, I'm just saying
for you first timers,
yeah, you new guys. No, it really it's cool to be on here and talk to you guys, and because I don't talk to a lot of people, other than when I call you guys at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You guys
remember.
You're right.
But I don't hang out with a lot of people, and so it's really awesome to be able to hang out and shoot the shit for a couple hours about old shit, stuff I did, in my 20s, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like taking at least for probably Cam and some of us, it's like being able to take the corporate America hat off. That's why I'm still being a crew chief. Everybody's like, why do you do this shit if you're doing this in the civilian world? And I'm like, because the civilian world fucking sucks. So it's like, I get to come here and be a degenerate for a weekend and fix jets. It's honestly, it's therapeutic.
If I could do it for the weekends, I wouldn't mind it. But I'll be honest with you, every time I think that I want to get out of the office world and go back to the jets, it's 117 degrees, or it's 20 degrees, or it's pouring rain. And I'm like, nah, man, I lived that life for years in multiple locations, and it's cool and all. And I enjoy, that feeling of, fixing something, and then it takes off in a flight and it comes back and it's good to go. That's a good achievement. But at the same time, I
miss the box nasties too.
You miss what?
The box nasties.
I do not miss those at all.
Fuck, man! Thank God we didn't have that shit at Langley. We had food. We had the Raptor Cafe, baby.
Clucky to Lucky.
Oh, every time I go there on drill weekend, I fill out the fucking survey that says "Bring back the Clucks Deluxe." That's all I put in there.
They got rid of it.
Yeah, there's not there anymore. No, it's these bullshit ass patty cheeseburgers where you get like a bun that's this big, and then you get a piece of meat like that slapped in there, covered in cheese. It's just like, what the hell is this?
Man, when the Raptor first opened, that place was like, I mean, that could rival any fast food joint off base.
I have still never found a food truck that rivals what they had at Tyndall.
You.
That.
Oh,
man.
Nellis got a food truck, and it comes out. It goes right out in front of by the parking lot. And that Nellis, man, oh
Yeah, those ladies can cook, man.
hell yeah! Get them carne asada French fries. Yeah, I ain't doing shit the rest of the day.
I had one opportunity to go to Nellis, and they told me if I went, I was going to be on Article 1 the whole time, and I said no, I'll just stay home.
How would they say that to you? That's rude. I don't know why. Like, did you do something to like warrant that though? Like,
I don't think so.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
I think
They knew
they
of
were
him.
just racist.
Maybe they went to Tyndall with you at some point.
Yeah.
They saw his Mike Honcho covers from the pool. So they're like, you're done. All we need is a phone call. We need a phone call from the Bellagio that there's Mikey and a floaty out in the pool where they're doing the water show. Mikey's out there with some Four Locos and Bud Ice.
Thought it was a bidet.
Water's great, man. Come on in.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, anybody that's ever been TV wire deployed with me had a good time. I'll tell you that.
Or a stressful time.
You had a good time. Don't lie.
It was an experience.
There you go. I seem to remember an incident in the parking lot of Coyote Ugly in Florida.
Oh, get a penalty shot at the Coyote Ugly.
Oh man, I don't know exactly what he's talking about, but
yeah.
I had a buddy bet me $5 I wouldn't kiss the chick's ass when she was up dancing on the stage, and so I went in to kiss her ass, and she went to slap her ass, and she slapped my glasses off. And the same chick, I've mentioned her before, at like multiple countries, multiple places. Same chick always finds my glasses and stands up. Found your glasses. I'm like, all right. So I put my glasses on, and that's the last thing I remember. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I don't deny it. I don't have any regrets.
We used to, so when we would DD, like me and one other person DD when we went down there, and we've got everybody down at Coyote Ugly. We have 2 minivans. It's going to require at least 2 trips per minivan to get everybody back to base. We developed a system to where I just put some like low music on, and like not the heat so much as just, you know, like midway heat, so it kind of gets warm. Man, before we hit that bridge, people were out, like just gone until the one person, yeah, almost. And then the second trip is I'm not going to say his name, but it's an individual that I actually went to basic training with. Oddly enough, he's in the back, and he may or may not need things like Ritalin. With like 5 minutes, he's like, "Why the fuck is it so hot in here? What the fuck are we listening to?" I'm like, shut the fuck up.
You caught off
like everybody else.
Go sleep.
Cam, did you go to Kadena with us when I was there?
What year?
Either was it 12 and 13, 13
Yes.
and 14?
13, 14.
Okay. Did you ever remember hearing about Club May?
Club May?
Yeah. Do you remember a crew chief with that last name?
I don't know. I mean, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah, well, we made his room. If y'all know Kadena and you know the towers, that's like right across the street from the Chili's 2 by Gate 2. So we were all there. That was he was the party room. They made a fucking Facebook page and would announce the weekend's activities in Club May. And at one point in those little room, we had like 20 to 30 fucking people in there. And that shit was rowdy. Even like the chief and the moo and the butter bars, like motherfuckers were just showing up. We had kegs in the bathtub on ice.
How did I not get that? Had to be the first trip.
And you know what's even the funniest part is they bought a Justin Bieber like party kit from the BX and put the poster of Justin Bieber on the door. And they put it so that way the eye was over the peephole of the door. And you had to knock, and you had to have a Justin Bieber VIP only tag. And they had one dude who was he acted as a bouncer. And if you didn't have the VIP tag, you just weren't getting in. And like people were getting offended that they were not getting in, and finally like 5 people just kick open the door, and it was fucking chaos. It was chaos. There was so much alcohol. I'm just glad it wasn't my room, because that room
Man,
was
it
in
had to be
shambles.
the trip I wasn't on, because I feel like, first off, if you're saying the chief was in there, it wouldn't have been the chief on our trip.
It was. You remember the short chief that was P-Mill?
Oh my fucking God, that was the trip. Then how the hell did I not hear about this?
You were invited.
I don't know. You weren't on the Facebook page.
Apparently, I wasn't on the Facebook page. Yeah. Damn,
you weren't the Justin Bieber VIP club. Okay.
So,
Dude,
so that was a trip though where I was trying to get my life right, and I was going to the gym at 2 a.m. because nobody was there. So I was in bed at
that's
like
because they were all at Club
4 or 5
May.
at night. Yeah, I was in bed at like 4 or 5 every night during the week, and like every Saturday I was waking up and I was running my own 5K, trying to like get into shape and shit like that. So I wasn't drinking as much there. So that might have been one of the reasons. But that was a trip where we did a kickball in the NCOA parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. God, you talking about the NCOA club? Or was the NCOA at Kadena? No. Was there one there?
Yeah. It was right next. So I was in the one right across. I was in the building right across the street from the flight line, and it was right next to the.
Oh
NCOA.
Yeah. That was a fucking walk and a half. I walked back from that one drunk, and it sucked.
Yeah,
I carried people both ways. Yeah,
I had to carry somebody one time from the fucking banyan tree.
It was Five Finger Death Punch concert was there. Yeah, when we were there.
Yeah, I woke up the next morning and actually went and walked a couple of them around the jet. Just still super drunk. I have a picture somewhere, and you can see people just like with the band members. Yeah.
Didn't the chief like bang on y'all's door?
No, I got a call. It wasn't the chief. It was our senior at the time. He called me actually. So I got back to the room drunk as shit, and I looked at it. I was like, I have a message. And I picked it up, and it was like, hey, like if you want to show them around the jet in the morning, like be there this time. And I'm like, sweet. So I set an alarm for like 4 hours later.
Yeah, I ended up that night. I ended up getting drunk as fuck with a bunch of Marines, and they came over. They came to Club May, and they were like, "This is y'all's fucking doors? What the hell? We're in the fucking squad bays and all this." I'm like, "Well,
10 of us to a
stop
room.
eating fucking crowns and study the ASVAB book. You can come on over." You know. They were like, "Who's cleaning y'all's room? Don't you have like GI inspectors?" Like, no, there's the little Japanese girl comes and makes my bed every morning after I leave to go get
this is lodging, all right? Like, calm down. This is a 1-bedroom apartment. Get out.
Sleeping bag. We don't get issued those. I get a Hilton card though.
Oh, I got buddies now that give me shit that are Army and everything. They're like, "Oh yeah, deployment," and I was like, "Look, man, if I start drawing family SEP, it's deployment, all right."
Kadena was an extended TDY.
It really was, because we made friends with people that were stationed there. That was they were special forces teams guys, and you know how like you couldn't drink off base. Yeah, like we were in a 2nd floor bar outside of Gate 1, and this like one of the dudes looks at me. He's like, "All right, look, if town patrol comes in, the bartenders will just kick him out." And they do. They jump over and they start cussing at him like, "Get out!" And they draw a curtain over. And he's like, however, if the Japanese police show up, this balcony has a drink machine under it. Just jump onto that, jump down to the floor, jump down to the ground. You know where I live. And I'm like, oh yeah. For whatever reason, at 1 o'clock, this whole group is like, I got an idea. Let's go to this other bar that's on the 1st floor that is owned by an American that quote unquote doesn't want any problems. And I'm like, bro, we're not even supposed to be drinking. Like, you already got problems. Like, just tell them to get out and they'll leave. And but this whole town patrol, man, and they walk past 4 or 5 like special forces dudes that just look like surfers, beards or long hair and shit like that. And they walked straight up to me and 2 other guys, and they were like, "Can I see your ID?" I'm like, "What ID? Please let me see your ID." And I'm like, "Okay." So I had tried to hand him my Alaska driver's license. He's like, "I need to see your other ID." And I was like, let's say I have this other ID. What happens? He's like, "There will be no problems, blah, blah, blah." And as he's telling me that, I look past him and I see one of our SF dudes are just going, "Nope." I was like, "He says I don't have to show you anything." And he's like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you." And so we just roll out. and walk off. And it was like, we don't have to worry about it because we're literally crashing in this dude's apartment. We go walking into his apartment. Now, mind you, I'd been there one other time, and I thought he just had like a support beam in his living room, and it turned out to be a stripper pole. And within it felt like 5 minutes, but it had to be just mere seconds. He just like kicks his couches away from this like stripper pole, flips on a stereo, flips on a smoke machine, reaches in a drawer where he keeps like $100 in singles and like hits the fucking stripper pole with it. And one of his buddies is dating a Japanese stripper, and he just looks at her and he goes, "Sachi, dance." I went from just walking into his apartment to sitting on a couch with dollar bills raining down, a smoke machine going, and a Japanese stripper spinning on a pole. And I'm like, where am I at?
Is this real life?
Like, Zach was like, is this really happening? Yeah.
It's the only thing I learned in Japan is ching ching nami nami.
Every time I'd go to Japan, people were like, "Hey, you used to live in Japan?" I'll be like, "Yeah." They were like, "You know how to order a beer?" And I'm like, "I do." Opai Omisate. And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, cool. How do you say it again?" I repeat it. They go up, and I'd walk up behind them, and they'd look at the female bartenders and ask them to show them their tits.
I'm surprised when the stripper pole didn't come out. I'm surprised Mikey didn't come out of the closet like, "What's up, guys? I've been here the whole time."
I can hear him actually saying it too.
I got in more trouble in Mama than I did in Kadena.
All right, guys.
Shit.
I think it's been over an hour now. But yeah. So does anybody have a veteran organization or anything they want to talk about? I didn't look one up.
I didn't. I forgot.
I was unaware there's homework.
Yeah, there's always homework. Damn it!
I'll plug one in there.
There you
go. So there's a lot of like, at least now I'm starting to see like a lot of crew chiefs, maintainers in general that are trying to like cross over to the other side to sit in the front seat and make money pressing like 7 switches and flying airplanes or helicopters or whatever. And there's an organization out there called RTAG, or Rotary to Airline Group. It started out being primarily like Army helicopter pilots, because they're like the hardest ones. It's harder for them to get jobs at the airlines than it is for a C-130 pilot or a fighter pilot or whatever. But it's molded into more than that. Now they have E to A, which is enlisted to aviation. And so basically, if guys are out there and they're like, "Hey, I want to make the jump," you got to start there on Facebook. Just look up RTAG Nation or RTAG. There's 2. I think there's RTAG Nation. You can just there. It's just a plethora of information on how to like use your GI Bill, how to use like Voc Rehab, and then also you can just talk to people's like, you know, their stories on how do they get to this point, you know, because they're right now, if you don't know, there is a mass shortage of pilots in the United States. The DoD doesn't even have enough to fill the deficit, and the DoD has a problem holding on to pilots as it is. But like all the airlines are suffering, they're hemorrhaging pilots because we got all the baby boomers leaving right now. And so it's like the time to get in. It's a fairly easy job. It allows you to travel the world, and it pays pretty damn good in the short and near term now, or short and long term now. So yeah, that's kind of like my plug right there.
Cool. Oh, sounds awesome. And you said
Hey,
you obviously don't need a degree for it.
Triggaman, it
What's
was awesome to meet you tonight, man. Or
You
this
too.
morning.
Sorry we didn't cross paths. I only made it to Alaska once for like 2 weeks.
Don't be sorry. It's okay.
They made me work out of the 525 anyway.
Bunch of bulldog bitches.
Could you imagine if like, you know, we said all that and Mikey's like writing it down, and then next time you get on like a Delta flight, Mikey's up there like, "You better fucking hold on.
You boys like Mexico."
I did actually write it down.
I think that's called Spirit Airlines.
Spirit. Mikey shows up like was it Russell Case from Independence Day? "I'm a pilot." This guy's
the beer in his hand.
When the aliens invade, you get Mikey flying an F-18 or F-22 to save the world.
I can fly an F-22. I just can't land that bitch.
Hey, at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that your takeoffs and your landings are equal.
That's right.
If it's anything like Flight Sim on Xbox, then we're good. But other than that,
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work well. It didn't work out well for that submarine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a lot more skilled than submarine guys. Okay.
He's got an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Logitech.
Not Logitech.
Yeah.
My
Official
controller
copy.
was $59, not 35. Okay.
Name brand.
Yeah.
It's the elite controller.
Yeah. Flying's easy even with the controller. You pull the stick back, the trees get smaller. You push the stick forward, the trees get bigger. And left and right is left and right. You're good.
It sounds pretty easy. Just
Mikey, just try do crop dusting first, then just get it on your motorhome. You can pull your crop duster with your motorhome, and then just like an Independence Day, and then just pull up the flight school with your trailer and your plane all together. You're ready to go.
You need to get that hat too. The goggles. You need the hat and the goggles.
There you go, Mikey. That's your Halloween costume this year. Your Russell case.
I want the leather hat.
It's a very elaborate costume
from Mr. Deeds.
Get you a scarf.
Anything any character that Randy Quaid played, that's your Halloween costume every year, Mikey.
Yeah.
Change it up.
Cousin Eddie,
Well, you guys.
Anything he had a camper for, but yeah. Good.
Triggaman, I want to thank you for coming on, volunteering, putting it out there. I know we don't get a lot of volunteers. They're kind of scared to go out there, but we can keep you all anonymous. No real names, unless you said it yourself or somebody else.
I don't think it did.
Allegedly.
That's the thing too. We got people that like Jay and I used to work for that. He still works for, but like will black his face out or like change the voice. Like a lot of people don't want to come on because they don't want to tell their stories, which totally understand. Mikey doesn't care. He'll tell you everything. But
I was scared the first time.
You were. We actually, if you saw the video, Mikey's face is all like green and all cut out, so you couldn't see who he was.
All 8-bit. But yeah, we could keep it all. And if we do make any clips out of this, I obviously send it to you guys first. Make sure you're good with it. But yeah, thank you. And Cam, it's always a pleasure seeing your beautiful face.
Good to see you, buddy. That beard, man.
Yep.
Hey, I've still got one tattoo that I didn't cover up.
Oh, fucking sweet. Yeah. I was looking back at a few of the tattoos I did, and they're pretty rough.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, it wasn't anything against you. It's just, like the other one was more of a, I went through a little lightning program and for at least one session to dull it out so that I could cover it decently.
Yeah. No, I take no offense to any tattoos that are changed that I did.
You remember that needle you had to buy? It was like a fucking highlighter, dude.
Yeah, that was probably a big one. That was a lot of ink I had to put in.
That thing was the size of your thumbnail.
You guys weren't a part of it, but there allegedly was a party one time in Alaska, and a buddy said, "Man, how do you have all these?" Because I look like, if you saw my legs, you'd be like, "Damn, that's crazy." But one of my buddies was like, "Hey, do you know how to make a tattoo gun?" I was like, "Yeah, if we had like a motor and a spoon and an ink pen shaft and a guitar string and some tape, of course I could." And 5 minutes later, he shows up with all this shit, and I was like, "What? What are we doing? How did you find this?" And so there's 6 or 7 dudes that happen to have tattoos, allegedly from that night.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that have my tattoos, but I used a real machine, not a homemade one.
Yeah, and then he handed it to somebody to do one on him.
Oh yeah, a lot of my tattoos and other people's.
I got a whole arm that's dedicated to just my buddies. It's all It's all shit.
Yeah. That's what happens. Alcohol
Wait,
and
Jay,
tattoos.
or Blackbeard, is that how you got your tramp stamp? Was that somebody else that was doing that?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tattoo your own ass.
Yeah. Is it dotted with a heart?
Yes, the eye is dotted with a heart. Much love.
I saw him recently, man, and him in a beard just still freaks me out, man.
It was weird seeing him with a beard. I was
So
like, whoa.
weird.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about growing your hair out because I'm trying it, but then I realized your hair was longer than mine when we were in. you had it all slicked back like a kind of like you do now. It almost looked
A grease rag?
Yeah, for a
like
while.
he had
Dude. Until the wreck, then I
he
shaved
like-
it all off. But yeah.
yeah. He had that, and then there was the famous Hitler stash he had for a little bit, and
Jared, you see his incentive flight picture?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Hitler in the back of a 15.
I knew he's alive, and he flies F-15. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
I love you. Thank you again.
Love you too, man.
We'll
Thanks, guys.
talk to you in a little bit or later or whenever.
Out.
Oh, who wants to pull chocks?
I'll do it.
There you go.
Let's pull shocks, motherfuckers.
There you
Love y'all. Have a good day.
go. Love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.